Alright, here we go. RayReign versus Luolis. RayReign with a 6-0 push into the finals on the top of the winner's bracket. On top of the bracket, there's no loser's bracket. RayReign is already producing a conclave as he begins and is immediately knocking down some trees. On the opposite side of the map, we have Luolis doing the exact same thing, knocking down some rocks, getting ready to move his imp past, has a conclave on the way. He is creating an iron vault in the area near his base, as is RayReign. Looks like a very mirror matchup, a little bit different positionally decision making here. They look like they're both going to push their speed camps. This is going to probably be a fast, furious, and intense match. RayReign is moving out with a handful of his imps. Maybe a meat farm going down. There's that meat farm that we always like to see right next to that extra income. And I bet you anything that this right here will be a shroud stone, knocking out the health so that his opponent can't come over and gank and then use that to our advantage. On the other side of the map, we have a gaunt already on its way, but no other buildings like a meat farm or a shroud stone that would be helping out in this instance. We're going to probably see a lot of nice little fancy kiting on either side of this, trying to do some damage to these just level 1 goats. What they're doing is they're creating their imps. For those of you that don't know, I know this game is relatively new, and there is a brute who will be doing the tanking for Luolis. On the other side, we have the brute showing up a little bit later, but the shroud stone being up and pushing this a lot faster. What will end up happening is most likely RayReign will go grab this vision camp, and then from there, I'm not certain as to his decision making. On the other side, we have Luolis doing something similar, grabbing the speed. Looks like he's going to his resource camp here. The meat farm over here doing the same thing. We're going to do that. We have that vision camp going down, moving real fast, knocking out the space. Identifies the natural going down immediately, sees everything. All of the army coming across, getting ready to kind of flank, fight in here. You know, the imps getting ready to shut down this expansion. Does a true kill. Not even damage it. It is a true kill. We have the gaunts out here fighting. Doesn't see any extra bases, but is in a situation where he's lost a lot of his army, but did get that kill on the base, so he's quite ahead, assuming that he's able to survive. Gaunt's coming across. Uh-oh, that's a misrally. That's probably going to be a free imp for his opponent. This is to make his hold significantly more challenging. Is knocking out the resource camps to the best of his abilities. That way his opponent can't get additional imp counts going on. Pulling back to his base, where he has a meat farm. Again, making sure he does his best to limit his opponent's ability to create imps. Unfortunately, the fell hogs do generate imps and are going to be taken and built in. That's a very funny location for our little fell hog flying way up here in the air. I don't know if I can turn the screen, can I? I cannot. But it's just a little interesting one. Iron Vault under pressure. Tons of our imps and things from Luolis. And RayReign is doing his best to be on the high ground, ready to fight this on the push-in. Does have, again, the big advantage on when he's able to get his base out. He's trying his best to get some imps. Is able to do that, doing a bust. His opponent is, getting in really far. It's so close. The gaunt just goes down to the fiend, or the grunt, and he splits them into fiends, and he's cutting them about, doing his best to keep alive his gaunts. What a very close interaction right there. A couple of gaunts run away. Oh my goodness, run into the shroud stone that RayReign dropped at the beginning, and a gaunt turns around. Both players now have their naturals established. There is more workers for our red player and at the natural location, but there's significantly more Therium being mined by our blue player. I see a big boost on production on units. Our red players continue to grab camps while our blue player is sitting at home with a handful of weak units and no brutes. This is that was a really close one. I was very impressed with both players' play there. Could have gone terribly, terribly wrong for RayReign Very, very close to having a situation where he was going to lose the game, almost lost it all. I believe this Gaunt staying alive is all it took. An extra Iron Vault under construction, that's where the brutes come from. He needs to have that production available to him so that he's able to fend off and have tankiness for his army. His opponent is still only on 1 Iron Vault and 1 Conclave, so there would be a slight advantage in unit production once the Iron Vault is rolling out units for RayReign. Still has a Vision Camp. Vision Camp was taken much later. Very interesting situation in that respect with the timing of when those were taken, because you're going to lose what you can see here very shortly. Well, this is going to be here for quite some time. It's 250 seconds. So, well, a very, very long time. Speed Camp's getting ready to come back up. It appears that our Luolis is already in position, getting ready to knock that out. I believe he'll probably take the attack very shortly. Has a couple of units scattered about at home. Does the same kiting that he was doing earlier, and of course he's taking things out. Hopefully he doesn't lose this brute. It's a little push up forward and getting hit by multiple enemies. Does lose it, but does take the camp, obviously, very effectively after that point. Imp's sharking around, looking to see if his opponent has grabbed a third yet. For obvious reason, Lewis has not, or RayReign has not. Luolis is getting dropped. Sorry. Paying attention to other pieces. Important that I pay attention to this, right? Shroudstone going down. This is the defense. This is a lot of damage that could be coming out from RayReign on the drop. Lots of gaunts seeing what's going on. Oh, relocated to the low ground. Looks like he's going to try and take out 3 imps independently at the same time. Oh, gets 2 of them. Gets a third a little bit later, but does create a lot of havoc throughout the red player's base, doing quite a bit of damage, and of course limiting his income on the thorium. This Doombringer is going to threaten for quite some time. No damage has been put up on it for the entirety of this match, but the third has been established, while the third is just getting going on the other side. Both players are doing their best to poke and prod and make sure that they're increasing their income, growing their forces, being in a good position to do well long term. These level 2 spiders are doing significantly more damage than the gaunts. It's rotating them out and making it so that he has the shields for each one. He has some more imps. And there's a little bit of fight getting ready to happen on this middle ground. I don't know where we're going to go. What's going to happen? Looks like he ends up pulling out, leaving those resource camps for the red player. I don't know. That was really hard to tell who got what. It's entirely possible that RayReign grabbed one and Luolis grabbed one because of the imps that were still hanging out doing the damage. Again, looking for camps to grab and expand on. This Shroudstone just being generally annoying and very helpful for RayReign, while Luolis does not have that, but doesn't necessarily need a reason to have that over there. It's generating some defenses out in this area, and we continue to see the camp going down. Lots of little micro offense over here. Loses a gaunt to the level 4 chicken. That's kind of rough to deal with. Continues to kite, do what he can to take out the chicken. Loses a second gaunt, and now the chicken is fighting the brute heads up. Looks like the chicken's going to go down and create a fiend. We have the Doombringer going across while that was occurring. That pair of workers, or gaunts going down is not very helpful, if for lack of a better way of putting it. Still hasn't secured the vision camp for whatever reason that may be. Has 2 Magnetons that he was looking to shark around with, maybe do some damage on that third, but decides the instant because of all the defenses. Building up his shroud while killing the vision camp that's there. New chickens placed in regards to around this location. Using the stun mechanic to make it so that the chickens are doing significantly less damage, so that he doesn't lose anything but some shroud on his health. Most likely will pull this back in so it doesn't lose a significant enough amount of health. Ooh, that's not fun. The Doombringer is taking a little bit of damage. Oh, doesn't hold it all the way back. Oh my god, oh my gosh, that Doombringer almost went down. Eventually does grab the Vision Camp roughly at the same time. Both players are proceeding to do their best. This Doombringer looks like it's going to grab these health pools by flying over them, which is a cute little way to put some little bit of HP that it's required on that unit. Lots of defenses going out on the third base for our red player. Large army for our blue player. A fourth base being established, and some static defenses being established along that same path time and period. You can see both players kind of thinking about going after each other. The natural actually has a pretty soft space other than this big army hanging out, and it, of course, having the high ground. That Doombringer giving that vision, and of course, once you've decided to add on the additional shield from his shroud. The Infernals fighting back and forth is always very interesting because you have this shroud that goes to both of the armies, which makes it just a very interesting interaction. Many of the Magmadons going off and doing their stun with the tremor effect. Both sides doing it roughly the same time. That being said, the amount of damaging things going on, that's a interesting artifact. That was a Shroud Stone artifact. I might have to send this replay in. That being said, both players are interacting. Lots and lots and lots and lots of gaunts, but a lot of them are about to go down because those Magmadons are able to get on top of them. Obviously, Static D is doing a wonderful job of helping out Luolis. The fight is very close, doing his best to take out this Magmadon. That Shroud gaining of health is making his life very difficult. This Magmadon tremoring inside of the mineral line, or the Luminite line, ends up getting pushed back, but does quite a bit of damage on the workers. Doesn't get a lot of kills, but does a lot of damage. And then, of course, we have this nice little graphical glitch here. Remember, this game is in beta. It is very important to note that this is a game that is still under construction. It is expected to have little things that don't always go perfectly, and of course, balance is not their focus right now. A lot of imps off these resource camps. That was, I believe there's 5 spiders there? Yeah, 5 spiders. So he's getting 5 imps based off of the interaction with these, which is extraordinarily useful on the next fight that we're going to see between these two, probably most likely. And then, of course, that giant knife there, not giant, but that significant income boost as well. A couple of gaunts going down, or no, sorry, a couple of fiends going down because the gaunts are able to outrange and kill them and kite back. There's a new health pool here. Checking on the bases to see where he is up against his opponent. It appears that he's very happy with it and decides to pull back and doesn't want to push the pressure, put any pressure on the natural, even though those fiends could probably go in and kill one of those shrouds. Has a fiend dragon out, is trying to give himself all of the fiends that he can off the army. Has some Hellborn available as well, doing his best to get through the army that was in the middle of the map. As I said, probably going to be able to do some damage in the fights. Has done a great job of taking out both of, the one Shroud Tower over here, Shroud Stone, excuse me. But the imps decided to fight, and he has decided to bolster his defenses as a response. And of course, we have RayReign doing his best to push up against and grab the imps around. The imps are going out, and I believe they're going to try and do additional damage in the counter. Yeah, they're going across the map, trying to do their best to distract and pull away. Dragon is doing a significant amount of damage, infecting a large number of units. Those Fellhogs become more of a liability once you have the dragon in, because it'll increase the fiend count very, very quickly with the fact that he's able to infect all of those units all at the same time, and then, of course, do damage, a significant amount of damage very quickly right after. So this third base that he's been mining out of for quite some time. Unfortunately, I can't see the amount of resources that are there. Obviously, the Thorium has been in a pretty decent, stable place. Some Shadow Fiends, Brute running across, an interesting decision. Again, the Dragon doing what it can do to increase that stack of Fiends for the blue player. These colors are crazy. Like, that's really hard. If there wasn't, like, the vision, because the armies aren't engaging, I couldn't tell if that little speed upgrade thing that was going on. I could see the visualization issues that were sorry, back to the casting of this match. We have, of course, both of them fighting. Blue is doing his best to push in, while Red is doing his best to use his static defenses, his Spell Hogs, and use his new dragon to push the King count in his favor. And the benefit of being close to home, you have production that's right there, right then, able to give you all the things you need to make it happen. And the downside from the long side is you don't have that. There is a clear grouping of forces that are about to take by that dragon. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at all those gaunts that went down. That dragon just did all of the work right there. The fight, of course, going back and forth, it's very seesawy, very close on both directions. And eventually, RayReign gets pushed away, but does enough damage to push his opponent back to 3 bases and reduce his worker count significantly. Worker balance is occurred, but the 4th base has been taken at this Luminite location, which shares this Therium, the Therium base. The army pushing across the map, checking this 5th base of Luminite, which is now getting defended up by the units that are here. Dragons facing each other in a situation where RayReign is already quite damaged versus Luolis, who's now is quite damaged, but was not at the beginning of the combat. Very large army of fiends, a few gaunts, and a singular Magmadon and a brute against several Magmadons, several brutes, and they kind of look at each other and say, "This isn't really want to fight." At the moment, we have some Shadow Flayers that are headed out trying to get that flayed dragon. The gaunts doing their best to protect it, and they are able to do so, especially with the abilities that the flayed dragon has to generate an infect and slow down and do damage. Luolis is about to lose his dragon, his entire counterattack is completely consumed, and the game is called. That's the end of it. GG's for that singular game.
In the lower left-hand